I was born in Kenya. My parents are missionaries. From the time that I started growing up, there was a huge push to provide water in Africa. And over the last 40 years, you would have assumed that we would have solved the problem. However, it hasn't. You've got people living in poverty, trying to eke out a living, but as soon as we recognize their struggle by saying, we're just going to come and give it to you, there's something that happens, I think, in your spirit. Your attitude just goes to be like, yeah, I'm too poor, I'm too weak. Why bother trying? Water4 always had that idea that unless we go deeper with the people and make it about them, that's what really makes a difference at the end of the day. The churches will be able to use that ministry of water. There's these ripple effects of going deeper in the community, meeting the needs on a much larger scale.
Before Water4 started working in Chapaco, there was really no clean water. They had surface water that they would drink out of a lake, no latrines. One of the first things they did was to come and do a manual hand pump. And then as the community got organized, mobilized, that community began to manage those pumps effectively. And that's what allowed Water Access Zambia to come in and upgrade that system.
We saw this opportunity to move from hand pumps to solar pumps and piped water, where they've got clean water accessible at their house.
If you have clean water at your house, you're going to use 3 times more of that clean water. It really increases the levels of health.
And we share with the community and say, okay, this is something which will increase your convenience. Is this something that you want, that you're willing to pay for?
We want to do things that empower others, not to rely on us. If someone's in a community and has the economic capacity to cover their own water crisis, let them do it. And then by paying for a service, people realize that they're capable of helping themselves.
I live on the outskirts of Chapaco and I have running water. I feel very proud. I am paying for this water because there are no germs or worms or harmful organisms in it. I am getting clean drinking water, and that's why it is my right to contribute.
When people have figured out they can do it themselves, we'll also see schools being built, agriculture practices starting, see people starting to work together.
The great thing about empowerment is it's not cheap love and it's not quick love, it's deep love.
There is like huge joy and excitement when I go out and see that this is like completely sustainable, completely owned by the community.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Carmen Brubaker from Zambia.
Good evening. It's a privilege to be here tonight and have the chance to meet all the rest of the Water4 family. So on behalf of all of us in the field, I just want to say thank you so much for standing with us to provide clean water in the countries where we serve. I was born in Africa a few years ago during the decade that began the push by the international community to provide clean water in developing countries. Growing up in this situation has influenced the direction that my life has taken and even what I do today for Water4. However, it does beg the question that after all these years, why have we not yet reached our goal? Tonight, you'll hear about exciting new technologies, amazing really, and innovative solutions that we're going to use to end the water crisis. But at Water4, we know that the solution is not just about technology, but it's about the relationships that we have with the people in the communities where we serve. For someone living in perpetual poverty, there comes a brokenness in spirit. It comes from a fear of the unknown. It comes from losing loved ones due to conflicts and due to illnesses that we don't even think about in the United States anymore. The result of that is a sense of having no control over your own future. When we bring clean water solutions to communities, we get to see their situation. And for those people that trust us to tell us their stories, we're able to develop a relationship. And through those relationships, we're able to share with them the hope that we have for our future, which is Jesus. Chishi Island in Zambia is home to over 5,000 people. They never had clean water because the drilling rigs couldn't reach the island to provide the clean water. And so they would go to the lakeshore and collect their water and take it home for their household use. In 2013, there was an outbreak of cholera on the island, and 8 people died and many others became ill. And the government actually came to us and asked, is there anything that you can do? And so, all excited, we loaded up our manual drilling rigs into little boats and took them over to the island and drilled for clean water. And we had the solution to provide clean water on Chishi. But while we were drilling, what we weren't prepared for and what we didn't have the answer for was the grief and the pain that the people were expressing to us because of the cholera outbreak. And what we did then was we called the churches on the island together and we began a discipleship program to share the gospel with the people who had just received clean water. Today, Chishi Island has 21 wells providing clean water to the 5,000 residents there. They have a maintenance team that makes sure that those wells are working, and the residents of the island pay for that service. The churches and the communities were so excited that they've now gone on to combat the food security issue because there's malnutrition on the island, and they've started restocking goats and getting the community involved in that. And just recently, when I was there, I heard that they've started an early education program to help the kids on the island get ahead in school. The transformation that's taken place on Chishi Island cannot be a result of technology alone, but it's a result of an individual in a seemingly hopeless situation, recognizing who they are as a child of God, following him in obedience, and using it to serve others. Investing in relationships is challenging. It's the most challenging part of what I do, actually. It doesn't always turn out how I hope it will, and it's not a really quick solution most of the time. But being able to offer a technology solution that results in an individual's life being changed, and in turn them transforming their community, is by far the most rewarding part of what I do with working with Water4. Within our Water4 community, we have a chance to travel and work and train alongside our colleagues who are in other countries. 3 years ago, I met Joseph Fison at a training in Malawi. I immediately noticed Joseph's compassion for his country. Joseph attended seminary so that he could be a pastor in his community. He and his wife started an orphanage to meet the needs of the most vulnerable children in their community. And today, Joseph heads up the water work in Malawi. It's Joseph's heart for his people that drives him and inspires those of us who work with him. He exemplifies to me what it means to love God and serve others to have a deeper impact. Here's Joseph's story.